2 weeks on the road in a van. What are your thoughts?
I love it. I love it. I can't wait for the next 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we did learn some things.
We did.
Along the way. Within the first couple of hours, even.
Lesson number 1. Vans are taller than you think. What happened here, Liz?
It's your fault. You wanted door-to-door service. I gave you door-to-door service. I also gave you some activities on the way out of the car.
Thank you.
I didn't quite realize how tall Vinny was, and we actually went up under a basketball hoop. A regulation basketball hoop, so we're quite tall, actually.
But I feel like it was good within the first couple of hours to learn exactly what your clearance is.
Exactly.
Lesson learned.
And no damage was done, so hey, no harm, no foul. It's
All
fine.
right. Back on the road. Which leads us to lesson number 2, and that is that things will happen. There will be setbacks.
Like diesel all over the van. All over the van.
That little bad boy busted out. And we have diesel all over
The van.
Within 4 hours of leaving Portland, we smelled diesel. Really strong smell of diesel. And Liz pulled over on the highway and we found that a hose connected to a can of diesel in the back had come undone. That was fun.
No, it wasn't.
So it's literally like, I mean, this is just... Hey Liz.
Yeah.
What you doing over there?
I'm trying to get all this fuel up off our floor. It still smells like a diesel a little bit where it got into crevices, so which leads us into lesson number 3. Always bring rags.
Always have rags. I don't know what we would have done out there without the rags.
I thought you were nuts for like, why do we need all these extra? And
Right.
Jen's like, just bring them. Just bring
rags.
them.
Yeah.
And we used them within
Yeah.
4 hours.
Yeah.
All of them
All of
within
them.
4 hours.
Yeah. Which does have a sub lesson, and that is that you should not put your diesel soaked rags into your friend's washing machine.
What? That's not a good idea?
No.
It was at the time. And then as soon as we did it, we're like, oh, the whole house smells like diesel now. So now we went from inside the van, we got the smell out, but then we put it into our new friend's house. So
Sorry, Bryce.
sorry, Bryce.
You should, however, park in that friend's lawn. That you should do.
Yeah, especially when that friend is a sprinter enthusiast.
Yeah.
That is very helpful when you wake up one morning and your van doesn't want to start.
Thanks, Bryce.
Thanks, Bryce.
Lesson number 4 is that you need to roll with the setbacks because they're going to come. Back on the road now.
It is what it is, you know? Whatever. We're gonna smell like diesel for days. Diesel for days!
I'm not sure what's actually worse, the air quality outside here in Washington where it's literally on fire, or inside where it smells like diesel. But we did get our diesel leak cleaned up, and you know, it's gonna smell for a while, and you know, Liz says I can't light a candle. Yeah, and you know, I mean, on a serious note too, beyond just the diesel in the van and some troubles with starting it, the smoke from the Western fires actually followed us for the first 10 days of our trip, and we did not really have great views. But honestly, the views were interesting and sort of eerie, and we rolled with it. As a side note, from the West Coast, and my heart goes out to all of the people who are impacted by the fires.
It did make for some eerie landscape images.
Yeah. I can never see Lake Coeur d'Alene like this. Or at least I hope never to see Lake Coeur d'Alene like this again. And it's a 6-hour drive from where I live, and I will see it again when it's cleared. On top of that, when we were in Glacier, also sort of blocked by the smoke, when it cleared, I think we really appreciated it more.
Absolutely. And to see what we weren't able to see just a day or two prior was a really big deal. And it really set the tone of how impactful those fires are on the West Coast.
I think if you can't roll with the setbacks, then van life isn't for you.
Turns out we're pretty good at rolling with the setbacks.
You gotta laugh. In case you're wondering where the battery is in a Dodge Sprinter, 2007 to 2009 or so. Oddly, underneath the driver's seat.
Ta-da! Look at that! That looks
Good
like
job.
That looks like a solid battery right there.
Found it. All right. So,
Oh, man. Lesson number 5 is a setback. It turns out that diesel engines don't like cold at all.
I didn't really know that. I wasn't really familiar with diesel engines before I started driving them in Vinny. They do not like cold. It's just a fickle creature. It's okay. No one likes to be like started immediately in the cold. How dare I?
I
even
need my
assume
coffee
that?
first.
Yes. Hello. Think about it. So with a little extra time and a little extra finesse and lots of soothing talk to the vehicle itself, we learned that it just likes to turn over. It takes a little longer to turn over the engine, and that's fine. That's fine. Now we know, and it's now part of our morning. So
Right.
it's good.
So we got started in Idaho thanks to our friend whose lawn we were parked in, who happened to be a Sprinter van owner. And then the next time we were in a really remote field in Montana, and the car wouldn't start. And that was a little bit scarier because it was going to be really difficult to get help out there. However, Liz and our friend Morel and me, we sort of teamworked it, and we actually got the van going. Liz, did you do a thing?
I did things. Look at it. Look at it. We tore it apart, but we got this thing working. Vinny is working.
Sounds like a car that runs to me.
Let's put this back in.
Van life.
Van life.
Good job, Morel. But the third time,
No bueno.
it was not going to start.
Mm-mm.
No.
No, and I think that time it was less of a diesel thing and more of a battery thing. Again, you just roll with it, right? And we were fortunate. We went around the campsite looking for another Sprinter. In come Tom and his wife Melinda, and who happens to be an electrical engineer. And so he was able to plug some doohickey bobber thingy in the car and tell me that there's nothing wrong with it. Just needed a battery change.
All right, we're good here. So don't stop it for the let it run for at least a while.
Rolling with it.
Rolling with the punches and really sort of learning your car.
The relief is I'm very relieved. But this also just drives home the importance of understanding the mechanics of a vehicle that you're going to live in for a little while if it's going to be your home. So lesson learned.
Yeah. Also, knowing other people with a Sprinter is valuable.
Yeah.
Kind of brings us to lesson learned number 6, which is that van lifers are the jam. These are our people.
Hell yes.
Yeah.
We love the idea that people just want to help people out of the kindness of their heart with no ill will behind it. People are excited to show you their rigs. They want to show you all the cool stuff that they did to their van. They are super eager to help anytime.
Yeah.
We have made so many friends along this way just by
Amazing.
asking for help. And they were very quick to respond. So we hope one day to reciprocate that to other van lifers, you know, and maybe with this video, people will take a couple lessons from us. And
I mean, it's okay to be the newbies on the road, and that's what we are. And I'm really excited to, you know, kind of turn into the expert over time.
Yeah.
Part of learning your van is leads us into lesson number 7, which is there will be bruises.
A lot of them. And sometimes they match.
Yeah.
For a solid week, Jen and I had matching bruises on our arms here, which I think Jen still has.
Yeah.
I decided to walk around a campsite without a headlamp on and took a dive over a boulder. A ginormous boulder. It looks really good now, but it was all black and blue and bruised.
That's sort of a sub lesson. That's watch out for boulders. Wear a headlamp.
Light. Use it. You have it, right?
Right. But the bruises that we had that were matching, that was actually from the fridge. That you know, we were putting our body into putting the fridge underneath the bed, which is where it goes, and you know, you sort of have to shove it, and we're like, why do we have these bruises? We also have matching bruises on our shins from getting into the van, which leads us to the next lesson, which is you should have a stepping stool.
What kind of stool?
A good one.
Not one that does this. This used to be a stool. Now it's some kind of origami tray thing.
Okay, yeah, the bear is spotted. Lesson number 9 is be bear smart in bear country.
Very, very smart.
I can't believe you just said that. Wow. Yeah, you should always have bear spray. And a sub lesson to that is that
the bear spray isn't for you to keep bears away from you, to wear on you. It's for the bears to keep them away.
yeah, not a repellent, more like a mace. You need to have it on you. Never want to be close enough to use it, but you always must have bear spray on you.
Bear spray.
Bear.
Bear.
Lesson number 10. The weather will dictate van life.
Definitely. In many ways than one. The simplicity of our solar panels, for example, needs the sun in order for us to charge everything that we use inside.
Right.
You know, so having that sunshine is key, which we haven't had a lot in the last couple days.
Yeah.
And today is a really exceptional day with some sunshine. So
Vinny's charging over there.
Yeah, yeah. You know, and also there's rain.
All right, so it rained all day today, and we came back and we set up the new van look. Little tarp action. Everything is getting dried out. Our little handy dandy clothesline. How you doing, Liz?
Hello.
You even set up a little heater?
Hello. Yeah, we have our own little sunroom.
Yeah.
Rain room.
Rain room.
Rain room.
All good. You have to be okay with rolling with the day that just rains, and you roll out the tarp and you have some hot cocoa and pull out the portable heater and your comfy socks, and
You make do.
and that's the day, and that's all right. But the weather does dictate your van life. Lesson number 11. It's really hard to work on the road. No, this is something that I always knew. We've been essentially living on the road for 2 years plus, and it has always been tough. But previously, I was sort of recovering from the loss of my partner, and I wasn't really interested in working. Now I actually am. I'm a freelance writer, and I have to get things done, and it's really hard. So we are going to get a WeBoost, which does give better Wi-Fi signal. We have diversified our hotspots, so we now have a Verizon hotspot and a T-Mobile hotspot. And so it's getting a little bit better, but yeah, working from the road is going to be my biggest challenge. Not yours though.
I'm retired. I'm retired Navy. I don't do any of that anymore, that work thing. But you know what I'm really good at? I'm good at building stuff. And that leads us to lesson number 12. Driving someone else's labor of love has only driven home the fact that I will build my own van, okay? For us. That works for us in a way, so that we can continue doing what we love. And I'm really good at building, and Jen's really good at watching, so we're an excellent team together here to build the van.
Yeah, yeah, I will definitely videotape that. Building, my jam. But that's why we're a good team.
That's why we're a good team. We have our roles, and we love them.
Liz does all the hard work, and I just videotape it. It's an adventure. Lesson number 13 is something we're totally united on though. Liz and I do not use single-use plastic. And this has actually been quite the challenge. We've had gravy served to us in our own containers. We're here in Butte, and what you have to do in Butte, Montana is get a pasty. So we've got it, and we actually managed to do it without plastic. They let us use our own container for the gravy, and we're actually gonna hit the road and have this meat pie pasty situation in the car. Wish us luck. Oh wow. Okay, Butte, Montana. We can make meat pie. We can make pasty.
Oh,
Pasty.
so good.
It needed the gravy.
She was right.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
needed the gravy. So we had to bring in our own container because, God, they were going to give us styrofoam, and that's even worse than plastic. So, you know, wood is wrapped in plastic sometimes, and we're just having a really hard time. And so we have this sort of collection of the plastic that we have made, and we have to do push-ups for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stand by for the push-up video.
Last but not least, so I guess this is lesson number 14. Harvest Host is really cool.
It's so awesome here. So right now we're in alpaca land, okay, in Montana, and with Harvest Host we were able to connect with a family who runs an alpaca farm, which you see right behind us, and they were gracious enough to let us camp on their land for free because we're members of Harvest Host, and got to hang out with all of these awesome alpacas this morning, and went and hung out with the baby alpacas. We met a pig over here.
So Harvest Host is really cool, and what Harvest Host is, it's actually an annual subscription, and what was it, like
$79.
and you know, we stay for free for a night on farms, wineries, distilleries, breweries. So it's going to be a really, really cool way to see the world. Now, it's really kind to buy from the product of the host. Yeah, so that's kind of how you pay for your nightly stay, but I'd much rather do that. And it's pretty great.
Yeah.
Cool. So that was 14 lessons in 14 days
Yeah.
of van life. And we hope you'll continue to follow along.
And it's plastic, so I guess, is it recyclable?
I don't know.
Because
All right.
what's gonna happen? Yeah.